When we speak of healing in faith, we often think of miraculous physical cures, the blind receiving sight, the lame walking again. But there's another kind of healing that deserves our attention and understanding, the healing of the mind and spirit that millions struggle with through anxiety, depression, and other mental health challenges. Some well-meaning voices in our faith communities might suggest that these conditions simply reflect a lack of faith or prayer. This perspective not only misunderstands the complex nature of mental health, but can deepen the pain of those already suffering. Just as we wouldn't tell someone with diabetes to pray away their insulin needs, we must approach mental health with both spiritual wisdom and medical understanding. Consider for a moment that many great figures in our faith traditions experienced deep mental and emotional struggles. King David wrote of profound depression in the Psalms. The prophet Elijah, after his greatest victory, fell into such despair that he prayed for death. Even Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, experienced such intense anxiety that his sweat fell like drops of blood. These accounts teach us something profound. Mental health challenges are not a sign of spiritual failure. Rather, they are part of the human experience in a broken world. They remind us that our bodies, including our brains, were affected by the fall, and that seeking help, whether through counseling, medication, or other treatments, can be an act of faithful stewardship of the life God has given us. Think of it this way. When we're physically ill, we pray for healing while also seeking medical treatment. We understand that God often works through doctors, medicines, and treatments. The same principle applies to mental health. Professional counseling, medication when needed, and therapeutic practices can be channels through which God's healing flows. This integrated approach to mental health care reflects the biblical understanding that we are whole beings, body, mind, and spirit, interconnected. When Jesus healed, he often addressed not just physical symptoms but the whole person. He recognized the complex web of spiritual, emotional, and physical needs that make us human. For those struggling with anxiety or depression, know this: your pain is seen, your struggle is valid, and seeking help is not a betrayal of your faith. It can be an expression of it. You're not walking this path alone. Just as Simon of Cyrene helped carry Jesus' cross, we're called to help carry one another's burdens. To our faith communities, we must create spaces where people feel safe, sharing their mental health struggles without fear of judgment or simplistic solutions. We need to be like the friends who lowered the paralyzed man through the roof to reach Jesus, willing to do whatever it takes to help those in need find healing. We should also recognize that sometimes healing doesn't come into the form we expect. Some may experience complete recovery, while others learn to manage ongoing conditions with grace and strength. Both journeys are valid. Both can glorify God. Both deserve our support and understanding. Let us be clear. Taking medication for mental health is not a sign of weak faith, just as using glasses isn't a failure to trust God for vision. Seeing a therapist isn't a betrayal of trust in God's healing power, any more than seeing a doctor for a broken bone would be. As we move forward in faith, let's embrace a holistic understanding of mental health that honors both our spiritual nature and our physical reality. Let's create communities where people feel safe, seeking help, where professional treatment and faith support work hand in hand, and where no one has to suffer in silence. Remember, God's love for you is not diminished by your struggles with mental health. His grace is sufficient, and sometimes that grace comes in the form of counselors, medication, and treatment plans. In accepting help, we open ourselves to the many ways God can work in our lives, bringing healing,